Your guilt-free diet soda could hide a dark secret that might push you into a grave. It's aspartame.
Diet soda?
We'll discuss the recent concerns that have surfaced about its safety. Stick around to discover if your calorie-saving option might be a health risk. You'll also learn about safe sugar alternatives. Most of us felt better about choosing diet soda instead of regular soda.
Diet soda.
Diet soda? Why diet?
The famous words were fewer calories and same great taste. Central to this promise was an ingredient named aspartame. Now, with the WHO labeling aspartame as a potential carcinogenic, we've got to ask, were we sipping on a lie all these years?
It's a lie.
Decades ago, sugar was the enemy. It led to weight gain, was linked to diabetes, and had a bunch of other negative health effects. The solution seems simple. Replace sugar with something else, something that tasted just as sweet, but without all those calories. The sugar crisis of the 1970s not only drove prices up, but brought the health risks associated with sugar into the public eye. This also created a perfect storm for alternative sweeteners to enter the market. That is where aspartame played the role of a knight in shining armor. Or so we thought. You might recognize it in brands like NutraSweet, Equal, and Sugar Twin. It's also in drinks like Diet Coke, Coke Zero, and many others. Aspartame is incredibly sweet, much more so than sugar. You should know that when aspartame first came onto the market, some people reported headaches, sleep issues, and even mood changes after having it. But when scientists took a closer look, a lot of these claims didn't really line up with the research. If a discovery was made by accident, should we trust it in our daily diet? The FDA approved its use way back in 1974 for a variety of products, from gums to dairy items. Manufacturers sold it as the healthy alternative to the sweetened sodas. If aspartame had been in our diet for so long, why are we now hearing alarm bells? Like that twist in a thriller movie, things aren't always what they seem. Perfect sugar replacements, ones that feel and taste like sugar without the calories, don't really exist yet. Some substitutes linger too long on the palate, while others don't feel quite right in the mouth. Despite its presence in our food for decades, aspartame's safety profile has been under continuous scrutiny. Let's break this down. Aspartame is what's called a non-nutritive sweetener, NNS. It's 200 times sweeter than our regular table sugar and is a popular ingredient in diet sodas. Did you know that the discovery of aspartame is quite interesting? It was accidentally discovered in 1965 by James Schlatter, a chemist who was working on an anti-ulcer medication. From supermarket shelves to our daily lives, aspartame seemed unstoppable. But to truly understand its story, we need to delve into its chemical makeup. When aspartame enters our system, it's broken down into three components: phenylalanine, aspartic acid, and methanol. Now, I know those sound like something out of a chemistry textbook, but stay with me. These substances aren't just in your diet soda. Why is the same ingredient found in a can of soda also present in pumpkin seeds and chicken? A cup of pumpkin seeds contains about 25 times the amount of phenylalanine compared to a can of diet soda. A piece of chicken has 35 times more aspartic acid than that same soda. So, with all these naturally occurring components, why the alarm about aspartame? The real concern for some is methanol. But here's the thing. The methanol content in aspartame is tiny. It's so little that you'd have to drink a ridiculous number of diet sodas in one go to reach a potentially risky dosage. Surprisingly, apple juice has more methanol than most artificially sweetened drinks. Research backs this up too. Reviews have consistently shown aspartame to be safe even for those who consume it regularly. In fact, a 2015 study reassured the safety and non-toxicity of aspartame. Yet, a 2015 animal study suggested that aspartame could amplify hunger and food cravings that contribute to the daily calorie intake. Many experts believe in a middle ground. For instance, Mazafarian suggests using artificial sweeteners as a transition away from high doses of added sugar, but not as a permanent alternative. The debate on this continues, with some praising the reduced sugar consumption and others demanding more detailed studies on artificial sweeteners. But there's a new development. A recent study in the Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry indicated that adding certain mineral salts can make these non-caloric sweeteners taste more like the real deal. The tested theory is that these salts could adjust how our taste buds perceive sweetness, making it more like sugar. Other researchers also found that a mix of potassium, magnesium, and calcium salts could reduce the long-lasting sweetness by up to 79%, making beverages with low or no calories taste much more like their sugary counterparts. This could be a game changer in the world of diet drinks. But then, recent research has painted a different picture of aspartame. The World Health Organization, a global authority on health, has raised red flags, labeling it as a possible carcinogenic. So, what does this mean for us? Were the diet sodas we've been drinking, thinking they're a healthier choice, secretly causing more harm? Both the World Health Organization (WHO) and the International Agency for Research on Cancer (IARC) have raised eyebrows over a common ingredient, aspartame. Recently, IARC categorized it as a Group 2B agent, meaning it could be cancer-causing. But before we hit the panic button, remember that this doesn't directly link aspartame to cancer. Even the US FDA jumped in, emphasizing that consuming aspartame is still safe if you stay within the recommended daily limits. For an average adult, this is about the equivalent of downing 21 cans of diet soda a day. With global organizations sounding alarms, yet national agencies reassuring safety, whom should we believe? Now, it's not just aspartame in the hot seat. Another sweetener, sucralose, often known by its brand name Splenda, has been making waves. Yet research has found them to be safe, even at high consumption levels. A comprehensive review in 2019 found no significant health differences between those who consumed artificial sweeteners and those who didn't. But another study found that one of its byproducts, sucralose 6-acetate, might damage DNA. However, there's a catch. This study was done outside the human body, meaning the results might not translate directly to real-life scenarios. So while it's interesting, we need more research before drawing conclusions. It's worth noting that the FDA has backed the safety of sucralose based on over 110 studies. For those of you tracking your intake, the recommended limit is about 31 packets of sucralose for an average adult. Now, citing back to aspartame, it's been in our foods and drinks since the 1980s. We find it in diet drinks, chewing gums, ice creams, and even in some medicines. With the new WHO and IARC reviews, it's clear that there's a call for more research, even though both organizations state that consuming it in moderation should be okay. Still, how can we keep track of our aspartame consumption if it's found in over 5,000 foods and drinks? Some of these products include chewing gum, light yogurt, sugar-free ice cream, and diet sodas, of course. Besides the health issues, there's another wrinkle to the artificial sweetener story: our planet. Turns out these sweeteners aren't just staying in our soda cans, they're finding their way into our rivers and lakes. They've been spotted in both surface and deep waters, but we're still trying to figure out what this means for our environment in the long run. Today, aspartame is in the spotlight for scientists. With so many questions still unanswered, it might be a smart move to either cut back on it or steer clear altogether. What's your take? In between these revelations, if the idea of removing aspartame from your diet appeals to you, then there are natural sweetening alternatives to choose from. They include monk fruit, allulose, stevia, and sugar alcohol. Stevia, for instance, is derived from the leaves of the plant native to Brazil and Paraguay.
And I need more stevia.
It has been used for centuries in these regions as a natural sweetener and medicine.
I slipped it into that stevia crap.
To be more careful, you can start reading the labels for aspartame before buying food and drinks from the store. Products labeled sugar-free or diet usually contain this substance. You can start stocking up on whole fruits and vegetables, and maybe your new hobby can be to make your own drinks. Exploring alternatives is always beneficial, but at the heart of it all, what's the real takeaway from the aspartame story? Remember, while reducing sugar is beneficial, it's always best to have a balanced and natural diet. The research on aspartame and other sweeteners is still unfolding. The search for the perfect sugar substitute continues, but for now, being informed is the sweetest choice we can make.